Yo, YouTube, we back at it, man. I came prepared, though. I got my water today. No last video when I had did my book in bed, I didn't have my water, but I came prepared today, so I ain't gonna be no type of thirsty. I'm not gonna be parched. Last time I was parched. I'm already starting off acting a fool. Yo, them Yeti bottles hit different though. But yo, I hope everybody had a great week, man. And I mean, as in last week, had a great weekend. Didn't come into too many distractions that, made you feel like you wasn't ready to come into Monday feeling crazy prepared. I know a lot of times we'll go through the weekend and we had it like dragging our feet coming into Monday, and it's tough, it's tough to get that start going. So hopefully y'all didn't have any difficulty getting back into the Monday routine. Me, I love Mondays, my favorite day of the week, so I really don't ever have that problem. I've been feeling a little under the weather lately, so if anything, that's been some of why my Mondays have been sluggish. But as I like to think, your problems aren't too big. You're just too small, It's like in life we think our problems are so big, and it's like, no, your problems aren't big. You're just too small. So instead of worrying about making your problems smaller, why don't you just get bigger? You know what I mean? Like that. I like that. I might just have to post that on Instagram. But yeah, we back at it, man. Book in bed. I'm about to go to bed soon, so it's that time. As y'all probably seen on the thumbnail, Richest Man in Babylon, chapter 2. Do they go in chapters? I don't even know if he goes in chapters. Let me look and see. Don't do this at home, y'all. I'm not smoking the Palo Santo, trust me. I ain't gonna lie, I have smoked Palo Santo in the past. When I did smoke once upon a time, I used to smoke Oh no, it don't say about chapters. Yeah, we would take little really, really, really tiny parts of the Palo Santo, just really grinded up parts of the Palo Santo and like put them in the gas. That was when I was smoking with some real holistic homies on the block. But I don't smoke at all. 5 years sober, going on 5 years sober. Start having a lot more content that has to do with sobriety. Let me ask y'all that before we get into the reading, because I want to start making these like books in bed, like just a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all just kicking it with me. I mean, especially when I start going live, I might just start reading live. But like, what y'all think, man? Do y'all think substance abuse is keeping some people from being wealthy? Or do you think it's just like those people never get wealthy? Because then there's some people who they use drugs and they still get wealthy. Like, that's a crazy question. Because like, what about people who like, they get rich and they still buy drugs, and they did drugs before they got rich? And to me, it just shows that like money is not the prize. Just a quick little preview. I have another book. I'm about to drop several books at once, so several different books. So that's why I've been falling back off the scene for a while, because I'm about to drop several books at once. But one of them, it's a money book, man. It's been a while. I've been wanting to drop a money book, so I do got a money book I'm about to drop. I feel like I might as well get it out there. And one of the parts, rules, chapters of the book talk about money being a magnifying glass. And I'm not the first person that said that, but it is something that I really, really live by, and I really believe that money is a magnifying glass. So whatever the thing is, or whatever thing is, without money, you see more of it, and it becomes bigger and more of whatever it is. With money, So I was thought about that question. I was gonna put it on YouTube, but I didn't do it. So I was just like, I'm gonna just wait. But yeah, for sure, I'm definitely writing a money book, and it has that money fly guy, has that magnifying glass concept of rule in it. So, but what do y'all think? Like, what is it? Like, how can some people get wealthy and make money? Like, of course, and that's why I say money is not the prize, because like having money, or should I say doing drugs, is not stopping that person from becoming successful. And it's not even this art, because you could think like, okay, cool, smoking and doing drugs makes people's art better. But there's people who snort cocaine, and they're stockbrokers, they're accountants, they're good with numbers. It's just how your brain works. Shoot, to be honest, cocaine was for the stockbrokers, you know what I'm saying? It was a rich man's drug once upon a time. Especially if you're talking about like how the Cali cartel, you know, really took over New York City and the financial district back in the late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s. Yeah, really more like mid 80s, early 90s, to be honest. Mid 80s to mid 90s. But yeah, that was just a little something I was thinking. I was like, because I was mentioning my substance abuse from 5 years sobriety. But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Like I said, I just gotta, you know, I hear things in my mind, and I think of things in my mind, and I'm just like, I know I'm not the only person that thinks that. I know I'm not the only person that, is this camera good? Let me move this up a little bit. I know I'm not the only person that thinks this. So what do y'all think? Like, I don't know that it's like, folks, because then they get money, and then but then they still go through the same things. And that's another thing. Like, people with money who have problems before they have money have problems with the same things once they have money, if they didn't fix those things prior to having money. We think they don't have those problems because they have enough money to hide them and make it seem like they're not going through it. But there's people that for a while, they shit come to the light. You'll see celebrities in the news, and you'll see people on magazines, and people's stuff comes to the light. As they say, everything done in the dark comes to the light. So yeah, that's just a crazy topic. We'll say that for another time. But let's get to The Richest Man in Babylon, part 2. Let me go ahead and, where my candle at? Which one am I? This my candle over here is closer. I know I have literally a couple of Scorpio candles. I don't even want no sponsorship, Target. I don't want no sponsorship. We about to be in Libra season soon. We in Virgo season though right now, so I don't mind being in my Virgo season. I get along better with Virgos than I do Libras. I love the air signs. I got mad love for them. I understand them, but I just can't communicate with them. That communication is just too flighty for me. But I'd be friends with them. I couldn't date one though. Couldn't date one. I did it. I was with one for 9 years, and that's as far as I go. But I got mad love for him. All right, let's get to it, y'all. Richest Man in Babylon, and we are at part 2. Okay, got it. So pretty much we left off with Arkad and his friend Kabeb trying to get to the richest man in Babylon to learn about how he got money. And this is where we're at. The second part is titled, obviously, well, not obviously, but The Richest Man in Babylon. This is part 2, y'all. And if y'all missed part 1, please go back and listen to part 1. I think it was only about 20 minutes. 10 minutes of that is just me talking. So, The Richest Man in Babylon. In old Babylon, there once lived a certain very rich man named Arkad. Far and wide, he was famed for his great wealth. Also was he famed for his liberality. He was generous in his charities. He was generous with his family. He was liberal in his own expenses. But nevertheless, each year his wealth increased more rapidly than he spent it. And there were certain friends of younger days who came to him and said, "You, Arkad, are more fortunate than we. You have become the richest man in all Babylon while we struggle for existence. You can wear the finest garments and you can enjoy the rarest foods while we must be content if we can clothe our families in raiment that is presentable and feed them as best we can. Yet once we were equal. We studied under the same master. We played in the same games, and in neither the studies nor the games did you outshine us. And in the years since, you have been no more an honorable citizen than we. Nor have you worked harder or more faithfully in so far as we can judge. Why then should a fickle fate single out to any enjoy all the good things of life and ignore us who are equally deserving? Thereupon Arcad remonstrated with them, saying, if you have not acquired more than a bare existence in the years since we were youths, it is because you either have failed to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth, or else you did not observe them. Fickle fate is a vicious goddess who brings no permanent good to anyone. Wow. On the contrary, she brings ruin to almost every man upon whom she showers unearned gold. She makes wanton spenders who soon dissipate all they receive and are left beset by overwhelming appetites and desires they have not the ability to gratify. Yet others whom she favors become misers and hoard their wealth, fearing to spend what they have, knowing they do not possess the ability to replace it. The ability to replace it. Ain't that a statement? They further are beset by fears of robbers and doom themselves to live lives of emptiness and secret misery. Others there probably are who can take unearned gold and add to it and continue to be happy and contented citizens. But so few are they. I know of them but by hearsay. Think you of the men who have inherited sudden wealth and see if these things are not so. His friends admitted that of the men they knew who had inherited wealth, these words were true, and they besought him to explain to them how he had become possessed of so much property. So he continued, in my youth I looked about me and saw all the good things there were to bring happiness and contentment, and I realized that wealth increased the potency of all of these. Wealth is a power. With wealth many things are possible. One may ornament the home with the riches of furnishings. One may sail the distant seas. One may feast on the delicacies of far lands. One may buy the ornaments of the gold worker and stone polisher. One may even build mighty temples for the gods. One may do all these things and many others in which there is delight for the senses and gratification for the soul. And when I realized all this, I declared to myself that I would claim my share of the good things of life. I would not be one of those who stand afar off, enviously watching others enjoy. I would not be content to clothe myself in the cheapest raiment that looked respectable. I would not be satisfied with the lot of a poor man. On the contrary, I would make myself a guest at this banquet of good things. Being, as you know, the son of a humble merchant, one of a large family with no hope of an inheritance, and not being endowed, as you have so frankly said, with superior powers of wisdom, I decided that if I was to achieve what I desired, time and study would be required. As for time, all men have it in abundance. Each of you, have let slip by sufficient time to have made yourselves wealthy. Yet you admit you have nothing to show except your good families, of which you can be justly proud. As for study, did not our wise teacher teach us that learning was of two kinds, the one kind being the things we learned and knew, and the other being in the training that taught us how to find out what we did not know? Wow, that's powerful. I got to read that one again. As for study, did not our wise teacher teach us that learning was of two kinds, the one kind being the things we learned and knew, and the other being in the training that taught us how to find out what we did not know? Yeah, if you don't know, you got to find out. That's a big difference. Those people who don't know, and then there's people who are obsessed with learning and knowing. Yeah, have to be obsessed. Forever student, as they say. Therefore did I decide to find out how one might accumulate wealth, and when I have found out to make this my task, I do it well. For it is not wise that we should enjoy while we dwell in the brightness of the sunshine, for sorrows enough shall descend upon us when we depart for the darkness of the world of spirit. I found employment as a scribe in the hall of records, and long hours each day I labored upon the clay tablets, Week after week and month after month I labored, yet for my earnings I had naught to show. Food and clothing and penance to the gods and other things of which I could remember not what absorbed all my earnings. But my determination did not leave me. Boy. And one day Algamish, the moneylender, came to the house of the city master and ordered a copy of the 9th law. And he said to me, I must have this in 2 days, and if the task is done by that time, 2 coppers will I give to thee. So I labored hard, but the law was long, and when Algamish returned, the task was unfinished. He was angry, and had I been his slave, he would have beaten me. But knowing the city master would not permit him to injure me, I was unafraid. So I said to him, Algamish, you are a very rich man. Tell me how I may also become rich, and all night I will carve upon the clay, and when the sun rises, it shall be completed. He smiled at me and replied, You are a forward knave, but we will call it a bargain. All that night I carved, though my back pained, and the smell of the wick made my head ache until my eyes could hardly see. But when he returned at sunup, the tablets were complete. Now I said, Tell me what you promised. You have fulfilled your part of the bargain, my son. He said to me kindly, and I am ready to fulfill mine. I will tell you these things you wish to know because I am becoming an old man, and an old tongue loves to wag. And when youth comes to age for advice, he receives the wisdom of years. But too often does youth think that age knows only wisdom of days that are gone, and therefore profits not. But remember this, the sun that shines today is the sun that shone when my father was born, and will be shining when thy last grandchild shall pass into the darkness. The thoughts of youth, he continued, are bright lights that shine forth like the meteors that oft make brilliant the sky. But the wisdom of age is like the fixed stars that shine so unchanged that the sailor may depend on them to steer his course. Wow. Mark you well my words, for if you do not will fail to grasp the truth that I will tell you, and you will think that your night's work has been in vain. Then he looked at me shrewdly from under his saggy brows and said in a low, forceful tone, I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep, and so will you. Yep. And I think when I first did my Books for Better Living testimony on this book, this is what I said was the part that changed my life. This statement right here, y'all, is the part that from that book, the Book for Better Living, when I did it, in that video, it's probably about a week ago. I need to start linking my videos in these so y'all can go straight to them. But I'll put it in the description. I'll put the link to that video in the description. But yeah, this part that we're about to look at, this is the life-changing part for me. There's a lot of parts in there, but this part of the book is what really made me look at life and be like, okay, once I lock in on this, and once I'm tapped in on this, I ain't never gonna be the same. And I never was. Because like I said, y'all go watch the video. I'm not gonna take away from the reading, but yeah, go watch y'all to see what I meant. Then he continued to look at me with a glance that I could feel pierce me, but said no more. Is that all I asked? That was sufficient to change the heart of a sheep herder into the heart of a moneylender, he replied. But all I earn is mine to keep, is it not? I demanded. Far from it, he replied. Do you not pay the garment maker? Do you not pay the sandal maker? Oops, the page is stuck. For the things you eat, can you live in Babylon without spending? What have you to show for your earnings of the past month? What for the past year? Food you paid to everyone but yourself. Duly, you labors for others. As well be a slave and work for what your master gives you to eat and wear. If you did keep for yourself 1/10 of all you earned, how much would you have in 10 years? My knowledge of the numbers did not forsake me, and I answered, as much as I earn in 1 year. You speak but half the truth, he retorted. Every gold piece you save is a slave to work for you. Every copper it earns is its child that also can earn for you. If you will become wealthy, then what you save must earn, and its children must earn. That all may help to give you the abundance you crave. You think I cheat you for your long night's works? He continued, but I am paying you 1,000 times over if you have the intelligence to grab the truth I offer. Dang, fried his ass. Dang. He fried him with that one, boy, for real. He said, boy, you think I'm about to sit up here and waste your time? I'm giving you 1,000 times over if you have the intelligence to grab the truth I offer you. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. It should be not less than a tenth, no matter how little you earn. It can be as much more as you can afford. Pay yourself first. Do not buy from the clothes maker and the sandal maker more than you can pay out of the rest and still have enough for food and charity and penance to the gods. Wealth like a tree grows from a tiny seed. The first copper you save is the seed from which your tree of wealth shall grow. The sooner you plant that seed, the sooner shall this tree grow. And the more faithfully you nourish and water that tree with consistent savings, the sooner may you bask in contentment beneath its shades. So saying, he took his tablets and went away. I thought much about what he had said to me. It seemed reasonable, so I decided that I would try it. Each time I was paid, I took one from each 10 pieces of copper and hid it away. And strange as it may seem, I was no shorter of funds than before. I noticed little difference as I managed to get along without it, but I was tempted as my hoard began to grow to spend it for some of the good things the merchants displayed, brought by camels and ships from the land of the Phoenicians. But I wisely refrained. A 12th month after Algamish had gone, he again returned and said to me, Son, have you paid to yourself not less than 1/10 of all you have earned for the past year? I answered proudly, Yes, master, I have. That is good, he answered, beaming upon me. And what have you done with it? I have given it to Asmur, the brickmaker, who told me he was traveling over the far seas, and in the Tyre he would buy for me the rare jewels of the Phoenicians. When he returns, we shall sell these at high prices and divide the earnings. Every fool must learn, he growled. But why trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels? Would you go to the bread maker to inquire about the stars? No, but my tunic, you would go to the astrologer if you had power to think. Your savings are gone, youth. You have jerked your wealth tree up by the roots. But plan another. Try again. And next time, if you would have advice about jewels, go to the jewel merchant. If you would know the truth about sheep, go to the herdsman. Advice is one thing that is freely given away, but watch that you take only what is worth having. Boy. They be dropping jewels in this bit. He would take advice about his savings from one who is, excuse me, I didn't read that right, y'all. He who takes advice about his savings from one who is inexperienced in such matters shall pay with his savings for proving the falsity of their opinions. Saying this, he went away. And it was as he said, for the Phoenicians are scoundrels and sold Azimur worthless bits of glass that look like gems. But as Algamish had bid me, I again saved each 10th copper, for now I had formed the habit and was no longer difficult. That's the power right there too. He said, I formed a habit and it was no longer difficult. And that's the thing, y'all. Habits are powerful because people have great habits, people have bad habits, and you can be good at the wrong thing. Some people are good at arguing for no reason. Some people are good at being defensive. Some people are good at thinking negative. Some people are good at instigating. Some people have habits that are not the best things for their life. So habits aren't necessarily always good. Good habits, bad habits. And sometimes it's not always good to be good at everything. Sometimes you can be good at things that you shouldn't even be good at. So the fact that he said that, hey, it was easy for me because I established a habit, it just shows he built the momentum. And a lot of times just getting started is the most important part. Like, you can't show out until you show up. And a lot of people wondering why their lives are not working because they're not showing up to their life. They're not showing up in the place they need to show up. They're not showing up and doing the things that they need to do. And then thinking about succeeding and excelling in that thing once you get to the doorstep and open the door and walk through it. Again, 12 months later, Algamish came to the room of the scribes and addressed me. What progress have you made since last I saw you? I have paid myself faithfully, I replied, and my savings I have entrusted to Agar, the shield maker, to buy bronze, and each 4th month he does pay me the rental. That is good. And what do you do with the rental? I do have a great feast with honey and fine wine and spiced cake. Also I have bought me a scarlet tunic, and some day I shall buy me a young ass upon which to ride. To which Algameth laughed. You do eat the children of your savings, then how do you expect them to work for you? And how could they have children that will also work for you? First give thee an army of golden slaves, and then many a rich banquet may you enjoy without regret. So saying, again he went away. Nor did I again see him for 2 years, when he once more returned, and his face was full of deep lines, and his eyes dropped, for he was becoming a very old man. And he said to me, Arcad, hast thou yet achieved the wealth thou dreamed of? And I answered, not yet all that I desire, but some I have, and it earns more, and its earnings earn more. And do you still take the advice of brickmakers? About brickmaking they give good advice, I retorted. Arcady continued, you have learned your lessons well. You first learned to live upon less than you can earn. Next, you learned to seek advice from those who were competent through their own experiences to give it. And lastly, you have learned to make gold work for you. You have taught yourself how to acquire money, how to keep it, and how to use it. Therefore, you are competent for a responsible position. I am becoming an old man. My son thinks only of spending and give no thought to earning. My interests are great, and I fear too much for me to look after. If you will go to Nippur and look after my lands there, I shall make you my partner, and you shall share in my estate. So I went to Nippur and took charge of his holdings, which were large. And because I was full of ambition, and because I had mastered the 3 laws of successfully hunting wealth, I was enabled to increase greatly the value of his properties. So I prospered much, and when the spirit of Algamish departed for the spear of darkness, I did share in his estate as he had arranged under the law. So spake Arcad, and when he had finished his tale, one of his friends said, you were indeed fortunate that Algamish made of you an heir. Fortunate only in that I had the desire to prosper before I first met him. Facts. Preparation and opportunity meet success. That's all he said. He said, fortunate only in that I had the desire to prosper before I first met him. Because if he didn't have the desire to prosper before he met him, and the dude presented that with him, he wouldn't have went through with it. For sure. For 4 years did I not prove my definiteness of purpose by keeping 1/10 of all I've earned? Would you call a fisherman lucky who for 4 years so studied the habits of the fish that with each changing wind he could cast his nets about them? Opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. You had strong willpower to keep on after you lost your first year's savings. You are unusual in that way, spoke up another. Willpower, retorted Arcad. What nonsense. Do you think willpower gives a man the strength to lift the burden the camel could not carry, or to draw a load the oxen could not budge? Willpower is but the unflinching purpose to carry a task you set for yourself to fulfillment. If I set for myself a task, be it ever so trifling, I should see it through. How else shall I have confidence in myself to do the important things? Facts. Should I say to myself, for 100 days as I walk across the bridge into the city, I will pick from the road a pebble and cast it into the stream, I would do it. If on the 7th day I pass by without remembering, I would not say to myself, tomorrow I will cast 2 pebbles, which will do as well. Instead, I would retrace my steps and cast a pebble. Nor on the 12th day would I say to myself, Arcad, this is useless. What does it avail you to cast a pebble every day? Throw in a handful and be done with it. No, I would not say that nor do it. When I set a task for myself, I complete it. Therefore, I am careful not to start difficult and impractical tasks because I love leisure. And then another friend spoke up and said, if what you tell is true, and it does seem as you have said reasonable, then being so simple, if all men did it, there would not be enough wealth to go around. Wealth grows wherever men exert energy, Arcad replied. If a rich man builds him a new palace, is the gold he pays out gone? No, the brickmaker has part of it, and the laborer has part of it, and the artist has part of it, and everyone who labors upon the house has part of it. Yet when the palace is completed, it is not worth all it costs. That's another thing that I was saying in the other video about figuring out where your portion of somebody else's money is at. So if somebody else has money, what can you create to make the money in their hands becomes the money in your hands through a transaction? And that's what he was saying. He's like, money doesn't disappear. It's just transaction, and it converts into something else. It goes from one person to another based off of the value that you offer. And is the ground upon which it stands not worth more because it is there? And is the ground that adjoins it not worth more because it is there? Wealth grows in magic ways. No man can prophesy the limit of it. Have not the Phoenicians built great cities on the barren coast with the wealth that comes from their ships of commerce on the seas? What then do you advise us to do that we also may become rich? Asked still another of his friends. The years have passed and we're no longer young men and we have nothing but put by. I advise that you take the wisdom of Algamish and say to yourself, a part of all I earn is mine to keep. Say it in the morning when you first rise. Say it in the noon. Say it at night. Say it each hour of every day. Say it to yourself until the words stand out like the letters of fire across the sky. Dang, boy. Impress yourself with this idea. Fill yourself with the thought. Then take whatever portion seems wise. Let it be not less than 1/10 and lay it by. Arrange your other expeditions to do this if necessary. But lay by that portion first. Soon you realize what a rich feeling it is to own a treasure upon which you alone have claim. As it grows, it will stimulate you. A new joy of life will thrill you. Greater efforts will come to you to earn more. For of your increased earnings will not the same percentage be also yours to keep? Then learn to make your treasure work for you. Make it your slave. Make its children and its children's children work for you. Ensure an income for thy future. Look thou at age and forget not that in the days to come thou also will be numbered among them. Facts. Therefore invest thy treasure with greatest caution that it be not lost. Usurious rates of return are deceitful sirens that sing but to lure unwary upon the rocks of loss and remorse. Provide also that thy family may not want should the gods call thee to their realms. For such protection, it is always possible to make provision with small payments at regular intervals. Therefore, the provident man delays not in expectation of a large sum becoming available for such a wise purpose. Counsel with wise men. Seek the advice of men whose daily work is handling money. Let them save you from such an error as I myself made in entrusting my money to the judgment of Asmir, the brickmaker. A small return and a safe one is far more desirable than risk. Enjoy life while you are here. Do not overstrain or try to save too much. If 1/10 of all you earn as much as you can comfortably keep, be content to keep this portion. Live otherwise according to your income and let not yourself get niggardly and afraid to spend. Life is good and life is rich with things worthwhile and things to enjoy. His friends thanked him and went away. Some were silent because they had no imagination and could not understand. Some were sarcastic because they thought that one so rich should divide with old friends not so fortunate. But some had in their eyes a new light. That's what I'm talking about. They realized that Algamish had come back each time to the room of the scribes because he was watching a man work his way out of the darkness into light. When that man had found the light, a place awaited him. And no one could fill that place until he had for himself worked out his own understandings until he was ready for opportunities. That last line was powerful. He said, no one could fill that place until he had for himself worked out his own understandings until he was ready for opportunity. These latter were the ones who in the following years frequently revisited Arcad, who received them gladly. He counseled with them and gave them freely of his wisdom as men of broad experience always glad to do. And he assisted them in so investing their savings that it would bring in a good interest with safety and would neither be lost nor entangled in investments that paid no dividends. The turning point in these men's lives came upon that day when they realized the truth that had come from Algamesh to Arcad and for Arcad to them. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. And that is so tough, y'all. That is like that. Man, that line is so tough. Like if you can just get that part locked in your brain, bro, then you'll realize that the whole game is designed to pay you. And if everybody believes that the whole game is designed to pay them, then everybody would make money with the intent of creating something to give to somebody else, and then nobody will be without. You know, and I think everybody has something that was given to them when they was born. Whether you tap into it, how focused you are on to tapping into it, that's up to you. Excuse me. But I feel everybody has something in them to where they can say, you know what? I was designed to make this. I was designed to create this. And everything that I have around me was designed for me. So when you're paying yourself first, you're really paying yourself for the sake of being able to give back to other people. Because if you pay yourself and then you invest into something else, you already invested into yourself. The something else has to be everyone else. Whether you're creating a product like Yeti. Yeti made this, but Yeti made this bottle. I'm not saying Yeti made this. Yeti didn't make Yeti, but the person who came up with Yeti, or the persons who came up with the Yeti bottle, made this for the sake of themselves. But since they made it for the sake of themselves, they also made it for someone else, because they knew they weren't going to be the only one that was going to use it. So it's like, at the end of the day, you making something is going to have to benefit someone outside of yourself. And there's a line that's there between us as human beings on what we feel is righteous and what we don't feel is righteous. And that's a whole nother topic. But let's just say if everything you made and everything everybody made was equally beneficial for all parties, there was no evil. And let's just say everything we created was like, okay, it's supposed to be like this. And it's supposed to make everyone feel how everybody is supposed to feel, how we supposed to feel inside. Then everything that you make for yourself is going to be for somebody else anyway. And that brings me to like thinking of like the mentality I've been going on. It's like, we supposed to be selfish. And it took me years to really think about like why being selfish is important, and why thinking like you're the most important person in your life first, and then everything after that. And if you really home in on like making yourself the most important person in your own life, you start thinking about like, if I'm the most important person in my life and I'm doing what makes me feel good, and that's like, it goes back to what I just said, all things equal, everyone's doing something that's right and making them feel like how we're supposed to feel, then there's no way you wouldn't want to have somebody else have that same feeling. And if our goal is to, if we're all thinking the same, then there will be nobody that will be without. That's why I think that's what he's saying in here is like, the only way to give is to have first. You can't give what you don't have. So yeah, that part of the book is crazy, man. I forgot that was actually the second chapter or second part, because I know that's all I had talked about. I know that's all I had talked about when I did my Books for Better Living testimony on that. I mostly was like basing that video off of how that part of the book affected me the most, because it did. Like, it really did affect me a lot. Like, only part of everything that I own is mine. And if that's the case, how do I make other people's part of their money become mine? Like, so if I have 100% and then only 10% is mine and then 90% goes everywhere else, how do I get a part? And then if somebody else is doing the same thing and only 10% of what they have is theirs, if they're following this method of saving 10%, then how do I get somebody, how do I make somebody else's 90% mine? How do I make somebody else 90% mine? And that's why we get upset with like companies like Jeff Bezos, and we get covered. It's like, well, like, I mean, he getting most of our 98%. He getting most of our 90%. And because I'm like, shoot, I ain't gonna be surprised if Amazon owns some real estate. Like, I'm not surprised if Jeff Bezos owns some real estate and we stay in the Amazon apartments in the future. Like, it's gonna be like 2020, it's gonna be like 2040. And these apartments gonna be owned by Amazon, and Amazon shipping it's gonna be all inclusive. Amazon Prime gonna be a part of it. Alexa gonna be a part of your apartment. Mark my words, y'all. I'm telling you, they're gonna be having Amazon homes, bro. And you're gonna be in the Amazon house. They're gonna be Amazon properties. You're gonna have Alexa connected in your house directly. You're gonna have a crazy discount. You ain't even gonna have to pay for Amazon Prime. It's just gonna all come to your crib through the little drones. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have the TV plugged in. All your internet gonna be Amazon. Watch these little kids who like 5, 6 years old, when they get like in their 30s and 40s, they gonna be living in them Amazon homes. And they kids gonna be living in them Amazon homes. And he figuring out, and people like him figuring out how to get other people's 90%. And you can't really be mad at him. I ain't mad. Shoot, he don't get 90% of my money, but you know what I'm saying? I probably give him a good solid $100. Oh hell, y'all, this video getting long. Let me end this thing. But now I give him a good $100 a month. Nah, I ain't gonna cap. I don't be buying nothing from Amazon. I go through my little periods of where it's like, okay, cool. Cause I be serious about that budgeting. For now though. Cause one day soon I'm gonna get to the point where I don't even know how much my bills cost. I just care about how much my revenue budgeting is. And really why I do personal finance budgeting is to help me get better with my revenue budget. It's like, well, what the people don't know how much they light bill is, they just take the money out and they get replaced by another asset. They don't know how much they spend on Amazon. It's just, yeah, if you still budget, if you're doing bills, if you worried about how much your bills cost, then you really not rich for real, to be honest. You're really not wealthy. But yeah, y'all, hope y'all enjoyed the vibe again. Let me get y'all some of that, push it down real quick. Man, I hope y'all caught a vibe with a kid. We will be reading part 3, probably next week. I try to do that once a week. What's part 3 called? Oh, John about to burn the book, my fault. That boy doing too much. Part 3 is titled 7 Cures for a Lean Purse. I like that part of the book. I really do. Oh yeah, we still reading this. I'm actually about to go hop back into this right now. I'm almost over this. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost over this book, man. I'm almost over this one. This book is crazy. I'm burning through this book. I'm like a little bit over halfway done with this book. I'm like, yeah, this book is crazy, y'all. This book right here. Shouts out to my little Spanish friend. I had a little Spanish homegirl. She moved back to Spain. My little Spanish homegirl, a little Spanish team. She gave me a little $10 euro for my bookmark because I had put her down with my bookmarks. I be saving. I call them bookmarks, but I be saving like I be having money and putting it for motivation. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's other folks who do this. I ain't seen nobody that's do it, but man, there's 7 billion people in this world. I know I'm not the only person doing it. But that's what I be doing. I be putting like little, you know what I'm saying, what I call bookmarks. My goal is to just have nothing but hundreds in there, you feel me? Just for the facts of doing it. So I'll just do that. But yes, we about to get on this, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Mad love. Remember to subscribe, follow, share, turn the notifications on. I know I ain't super active like that, but when I am active, y'all gonna be hearing something that I hope y'all consider to be useful and y'all can take something away from it and make y'all have better lives, to be able to affect yourself in a positive way, but also duplicate. Duplication is key. Duplicate. All right, y'all, remember to stay well, be conscious, and write your world into existence.